Work hard, hustle, grind. It's the advice everyone gives you when you want to get ahead in life, right? But here's the catch. Working hard on the wrong things won't get you where you want to go. If you're not working on yourself, then all that hustle won't matter in the long run. It's time to shift the focus. What if the real work starts with you? What if the key to changing your life is about improving yourself first? Think about it. You can keep working hard at your job, trying to get promoted, or push yourself to hit all the goals you think you should be chasing. But none of that will truly move the needle until you start putting the work into becoming a better version of yourself. Now, I know it might sound a little strange. Work hard on yourself. But stick with me here. You've got everything you need right now to start making big changes. All it takes is a shift in how you approach things. It's not about waiting for the perfect moment or waiting until you feel ready. It's about getting in there and working on your mindset, your habits, and your growth every single day. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make that shift. We're going to break it down step by step, and by the end, you'll know exactly what to do to start building the life you really want. I'm not here to waste your time with just some empty motivation. This is about giving you real, actionable advice that you can use today to start improving yourself and getting better results in your life. So if you're ready to stop just going through the motions and actually start making progress, stick around. This video is for anyone who's ready to stop waiting and start doing the work. Trust me, if you're willing to put in the effort, you'll start seeing real change. Let's dive in. Number 1, commit to being the best version of yourself. Every day you ever wonder why some people seem to get ahead in life while others stay stuck in the same place for years. Why some people grow, improve, and reach new levels while others keep making the same mistakes, dealing with the same problems, and never really change. It all comes down to one thing: what you do every single day. See, success isn't about luck. It's not about waiting for the right opportunity. It's not even about working hard on your job or your business. It's about working hard on you, because the truth is, nothing changes unless you change. Your life gets better when you get better. Your results improve when you improve. And if you want to get to the next level, you've got to commit. Not once, not when it's easy, but every single day. And let me tell you something. This isn't about motivation. Motivation comes and goes. Some days you wake up excited. Some days you don't feel like doing anything at all. If you only work on yourself when you feel like it, you'll never get anywhere. The people who actually succeed, they don't rely on feelings. They rely on commitment. Commitment means making a decision, a real decision. Not just saying I want to be better, not just thinking about it. Deciding that no matter what, no matter how hard it gets, you will push yourself to improve. It means you don't negotiate with yourself. You don't wake up and ask, do I feel like improving today? No. You wake up and say, what do I need to do to get better today? And then you do it. And let's be real. This is not easy. If it were easy, everyone would be successful. But most people aren't willing to do this. They want change, but they don't want to put in the effort. They want results, but they don't want to go through the process. So they make excuses. They say, I don't have time. I don't have the energy. I'll start next week. And before they know it, months go by, years go by, and nothing changes. So ask yourself, are you willing to break that cycle? Are you willing to wake up today and say, this is the day I commit to my own growth? Because that's what it takes. Now here's what most people don't realize. You don't have to change everything at once. You don't have to wake up tomorrow and be a completely different person. You just have to be a little better than you were yesterday. That's it. You start small, you build habits. And over time, those small changes add up to something big. Maybe today you start by reading for 10 minutes. Instead of scrolling through your phone. Maybe you go for a walk instead of watching TV. Maybe you choose to work on a skill instead of wasting time. These little choices don't seem like much in the moment, but do them every day. They will change your life. And let's talk about setbacks, because they will happen. Some days you'll feel tired. Some days you'll make mistakes. Some days you won't feel like you're making progress. And this is where most people quit. They miss a workout. They skip a habit. They fall back into old patterns. And they think, well, I guess I failed. And then they give up completely. But that's not how success works. Success is messy. It's full of ups and downs. The people who actually make it, they don't let one bad day turn into a bad week. They don't let one mistake stop them from moving forward. They pick themselves up and keep going. So if you really want to commit to being the best version of yourself, you have to stop looking at this as an all or nothing thing. It's not about being perfect. It's about being consistent. Think about this. Who do you want to be a year from now? What kind of life do you want to be living? Because if you don't commit now, that future will look exactly like your present. But if you do commit, if you start working on yourself today, even in the smallest ways, a year from now, you won't even recognize yourself. And that's what makes this so powerful. You have control over your future. You have control over how much you grow. It's not up to luck. It's not up to anyone else. It's up to you. So here's the challenge. Don't just listen to this and feel motivated for a few minutes. Make a decision right now. Decide that from this moment on, you are committed to becoming the best version of yourself. Decide that every single day, no matter what happens, you will do something to improve. Decide that nothing is going to stop you. Because once you make that decision, everything changes. Number 2, build a routine around your goals, not just your tasks. Most people wake up every day and jump straight into their tasks. They check their phone, scroll through social media, respond to messages, and then start rushing through their to-do list. But here's the problem. Being busy doesn't mean you're making progress. You can spend the whole day doing things and still feel stuck in the same place. And that's because most people focus on tasks, not on goals. They move through their day, reacting to whatever comes up, instead of taking control. If you want to change your life, you have to build your routine around your goals, not just your tasks. Because your tasks, they'll always be there. Emails, meetings, errands, responsibilities, those things never end. But your goals, those won't happen unless you make them a priority. And if you don't structure your day to focus on them, months will pass, years will pass, and you'll still be in the same place, wondering why nothing changed. So here's what you need to do. You take control of your day before your day takes control of you. That means you don't just wake up and see what happens. You don't just react to the world. You decide ahead of time what matters most, and you build your routine around it. And this starts from the moment you wake up, because how you start your day sets the tone for everything. Most people roll out of bed, check their phone, and immediately let the world tell them what to think about. They see messages, notifications, news, distractions, and before they even get a chance to focus on themselves, their mind is already in reaction mode. They're already behind. That's why you have to start your day with intention. Before you let the world in, you take time to focus on you, on your goals, your mindset, your priorities. Maybe that means you wake up and spend a few minutes planning your day. Maybe that means you take time to read, to think, to set your intentions before you do anything else. And then you structure your day in a way that actually moves you forward. Because here's another mistake people make. They say they have goals, but when you look at their schedule, there's no time set aside for those goals. They say they want to start a business, but they never actually schedule time to work on it. They say they want to get in shape, but they don't block out time for exercise. They say they want to improve themselves, but every hour of their day is taken up by random tasks that don't actually move them forward. You have to be different. You have to look at your goals and ask, when am I actually going to work on this? Not just when I have time, not just when I feel like it. You have to put it in your schedule, like an appointment you cannot miss. Because let's be real, if you don't schedule it, it won't happen. Life will always get in the way. There will always be distractions. There will always be something more urgent to take care of. And before you know it, another day has passed, another week, another month, and you're still not any closer to your goal. So make it non-negotiable. If you're serious about getting in shape, your workout is an appointment, just like a meeting, just like work, just like anything else you have to do. If you're serious about building a business, working on it every day is a must, not just something you do when you find time. If you want to improve your skills, if you want to grow, if you want to create a better future for yourself, you make time for it, period. And listen, this doesn't mean you have to give up everything else in your life. It just means you have to be intentional with how you spend your time. It means you cut out the things that aren't helping you move forward. It means you stop spending hours on social media, Stop watching pointless videos. Stop wasting time on things that don't matter. Because every hour you waste is an hour you could have used to build something meaningful. Now, once you've set up your schedule, the next thing you need to do is make sure your environment supports your routine. Because a lot of times, people fail not because they don't want to succeed, but because their environment is working against them. If your goal is to read more, but your phone is sitting next to you, buzzing with notifications, guess what? You're not going to focus. If you're trying to work on your business, but your TV is on in the background, you're not going to be productive. If you're trying to eat healthy, but your kitchen is full of junk food, you're going to struggle. So set yourself up for success. If you want to focus, create a space where you can focus. Put your phone in another room. Turn off distractions. If you want to make progress, remove the things that keep pulling you back into bad habits. Because when your environment makes it easier to stay on track, sticking to your routine becomes automatic. And here's the final key. Stay flexible, but never lose focus. Life happens. Some days things won't go as planned. Maybe an emergency comes up. Maybe you don't feel your best. Maybe something unexpected happens that throws you off. That's okay. What matters is that you don't let one bad day turn into a bad week, a bad month, a bad year. If you miss a workout, get back on track the next day. If you skip a work session, don't beat yourself up. Just get back to it. The goal is progress, not perfection. The people who succeed are not the people who never mess up. They're the people who keep going, no matter what. So if you really want to change your life, don't just focus on tasks. Focus on your goals. Make sure your routine is built around them. Make sure every day, no matter what, you're doing something, anything that moves you forward. Because when you commit to that, you become unstoppable. Number 3, start small. Build momentum. Most people want to change their lives, but they never start. They wait for the perfect time. They wait until they have everything figured out. They wait until they feel motivated. And because they keep waiting, nothing ever happens. They get stuck in the same routines, the same habits, the same patterns. Days turn into weeks, weeks turn into months, and before they know it, another year has passed, and they're still in the same place. The problem isn't that they don't have the potential. The problem is they're trying to start big when the real key is to start small. The reason so many people fail is because they overwhelm themselves. They set massive goals, and instead of taking the first step, they stare at the mountain in front of them and feel defeated before they even begin. They say, I want to get in shape, but instead of just committing to one small workout, they try to change their entire diet, spend hours researching, and create a plan so complicated that they give up before they even start. They say, I want to start a business, but instead of taking one simple action, they get lost in all the details. What logo to use, what website to build, what strategies to follow. And because it all feels too big, too overwhelming, they never move forward. This is why the smartest thing you can do is start small. The goal isn't to do everything at once. The goal is to build momentum. Because once you start moving, even if it's in the smallest way, you create energy. And energy leads to action. And action leads to progress. Think about it. When you push a car, the hardest part is getting it to move that first inch. But once it starts rolling, it gets easier to keep it going. That's how success works. That's how change happens. It doesn't start with a massive leap. It starts with one small step. Let's say you want to read more books. Instead of saying, I need to read an entire book every week, just commit to 1 page a day. That's it. Just 1 page. It sounds too easy, too simple, but that's the point. It's so small that there's no reason not to do it. And what happens? After a few days, that 1 page turns into 2, then 5, then 10. Before you know it, you're reading every day without even thinking about it. Or maybe you want to start working out. Instead of saying, I'm going to spend 2 hours at the gym every day, start with 5 minutes at home. Do 5 push-ups. Go for a short walk. Make it so easy that you can't say no. And once you get used to that, you naturally start doing more. 5 push-ups turn into 10. A short walk turns into a jog. Before you know it, fitness is just a part of your life. This is how you build real lasting change. You start so small that it feels ridiculous not to do it. And once you start, you build momentum. That's when you stop trying to be disciplined. Because by that point, it's just who you are. Most people fail because they think they need motivation. They wait until they feel like doing something. But here's the truth. Motivation comes after you start, not before. If you sit around waiting to feel ready, you'll be waiting forever. Action creates motivation, not the other way around. Think about a time when you didn't want to do something, but once you started, you felt better. Maybe you didn't feel like working out, but once you did, you were glad you did. Maybe you didn't feel like cleaning your house, but once you started, you got into a rhythm. That's how the mind works. Once you take action, even if it's small, your brain wants to keep going. This is why you don't need a perfect plan. You don't need to figure out every detail. You don't need to know all the steps. You just need to do one thing, one small action. Today, not tomorrow, not next week. Today. Because the sooner you start, the sooner you build momentum. A lot of people get stuck in planning mode. They think if they just plan enough, they'll feel confident. But planning is not progress. You don't get results from thinking about change. You get results from doing something. So instead of spending weeks researching the best way to do something, just start. You'll figure it out as you go. And the best part, once you take action, you get feedback. You learn what works, what doesn't, and you adjust. But you can't adjust if you never start. The secret is to lower the barrier. Make it so easy that it's impossible to fail. If you want to wake up earlier, don't set your alarm 2 hours earlier. Just start with 5 minutes. If you want to eat healthier, don't try to change everything overnight. Just swap one meal. If you want to learn a new skill, don't try to master it in a week. Just spend 5 minutes a day practicing. Because once you do something, no matter how small, you're in the game. And once you're in the game, everything changes. You go from being someone who wants to do something to being someone who does it. That identity shift is powerful. That's when success stops feeling like this big, impossible thing and starts feeling normal. And here's the best part. Once you build momentum, you start to believe in yourself. Most people don't take action because deep down, they don't believe they can change. They've failed too many times before, so they assume they'll fail again. But when you start small and see yourself making progress, that belief starts to grow. You prove to yourself that you can do it. You prove to yourself that you are capable. And once you believe that, nothing can stop you. So if you've been waiting, stop waiting. If you've been overthinking, stop overthinking. If you've been planning, stop planning. Just take one step. Make it so small that it feels impossible to fail. Because once you start, you won't want to stop. And when you build momentum, that's when your life starts to change. Number 4, transform self-doubt into self-action. Most people never reach their full potential. Not because they lack talent or intelligence, but because they're held back by self-doubt. They question themselves, second-guess their abilities, and hesitate when they should take action. It's that little voice in the back of the mind saying, what if I fail? What if I'm not good enough? What if people judge me? And because of these doubts, they stay stuck. They wait, they procrastinate, and before they know it, years have passed, and they're still standing in the same place. But here's what you need to understand. Self-doubt is not the problem. The problem is what you do with it. Everyone has doubts. Everyone feels fear. The difference between successful people and those who stay stuck is that successful people use their doubts as fuel to take action. They don't wait for the doubt to disappear. They take action in spite of it. And once they take action, the doubt starts to fade because confidence is built through action, not through thinking. The biggest mistake people make is believing that they need to feel confident before they can start. They think, once I feel ready, then I'll do it. But that's not how confidence works. Confidence comes from doing. You don't feel confident before you take action. You feel confident because you take action. The only way to break the cycle of self-doubt is to step forward while you're still afraid. Think about a time when you were nervous about something, maybe a job interview, a speech, or even learning something new. Before you started, you probably had doubts. But once you did it, you realized it wasn't as bad as you thought. You felt more confident, not because the fear magically disappeared, but because you proved to yourself that you could handle it. That's how confidence grows, one action at a time. The key is to stop letting doubt be the reason you don't take action. Instead, make it the reason you do. Instead of saying, what if I fail? Ask, what if I never try? Instead of asking, what if I'm not good enough? Ask, how will I ever get better if I don't start? Shift the focus from fear to progress. Every time you feel doubt creeping in, remind yourself that the only way to overcome it is through action. A lot of people wait for permission. They wait for someone to tell them they're good enough. But let me tell you something. No one is coming to give you permission. You have to decide that you are good enough. You have to act like you belong in the room. You have to show up even when you don't feel ready. Because the truth is, no one feels ready. Even the most successful people in the world still have doubts. They just don't let those doubts stop them. Think about some of the greatest athletes, business leaders, and performers. Do you think they never had doubts? Of course they did. But instead of letting those doubts paralyze them, they used them as motivation. They showed up, they practiced, they failed, they learned, and they kept going. That's the difference. They didn't wait to feel confident. They built confidence through repetition and action. So if you find yourself stuck in doubt, the best thing you can do is move. Even if it's just a small step. Write the first sentence, make the first call, take the first lesson, show up on day one. Whatever it is, just start. Because the moment you take action, you prove to yourself that you can do it. And with every step forward, that doubt gets weaker and your confidence gets stronger. Another thing that keeps people trapped in doubt is comparison. They look at others who are ahead of them and think, I'll never be as good as them. But what they don't see is the years of work that person put in. They don't see the failures, the setbacks, the struggles. They only see the success. Stop comparing your beginning to someone else's middle. Instead of thinking, I'll never be like them, think, if they can do it, so can I. Let their success inspire you, not discourage you. Self-doubt is normal, but it doesn't have to control you. You don't have to believe every negative thought your mind tells you. When doubt whispers, you're not good enough, respond with action. When fear says you might fail, remind yourself that failure is just a step towards success. When insecurity says, what will people think? Realize that their opinions don't determine your potential. The truth is, the only way to truly fail is to do nothing. If you take action, even if it's small, you're already winning. You're already ahead of the person who is still sitting on the sidelines, waiting for the perfect moment. The perfect moment doesn't exist. The only moment you have is now. So stop overthinking. Stop doubting yourself. Stop waiting for permission. The only way to transform self-doubt into confidence is to do the thing you're afraid of. Not once, not twice, but over and over until it becomes second nature. That's when doubt loses its power. That's when you take control, and that's when your life starts to change. Number 5, practice daily reflection and self-evaluation. Most people go through life on autopilot. They wake up, go through their daily routine, and go to bed without ever stopping to think about where they're going or what they're becoming. Days turn into weeks, weeks into months, and before they know it, years have passed, and they're still in the same place. Same habits, same struggles, same results. They wonder why they aren't growing, why success feels out of reach, why nothing seems to change. But the truth is, change doesn't happen by accident. Growth isn't automatic. It happens when you take the time to stop, reflect, and evaluate your own life. Daily reflection is the key to progress. It's how you learn from your mistakes instead of repeating them. It's how you recognize what's working and what's not. It's how you hold yourself accountable. Because here's the reality. If you don't take the time to reflect, you'll keep making the same choices, thinking the same thoughts, and living the same life. If you want to improve, if you want to grow, if you want to succeed, you have to take a step back and ask yourself, how am I doing? Most people avoid self-evaluation because it's uncomfortable. It forces them to face the truth about their habits, their discipline, their excuses. But that's exactly why it's necessary. If you don't face the truth, you can't fix it. And if you don't fix it, you stay stuck. Real change starts when you're honest with yourself. Not once a year, not once in a while, but every single day. At the end of the day, take a few moments to ask yourself some tough questions. Did I give my best effort today? Did I stay focused on my goals? Did I waste time on distractions? Did I stick to my commitments? Or did I make excuses? Where did I succeed? And where did I fall short? These questions might be uncomfortable, but they're powerful. They help you see exactly where you need to improve. And the more honest you are with yourself, the faster you'll grow. But reflection isn't just about looking at what went wrong. It's also about recognizing what you did right. Too many people only focus on their failures. They beat themselves up over mistakes. They dwell on what they didn't accomplish, instead of celebrating what they did. If you only focus on the negatives, you'll lose motivation. That's why it's just as important to acknowledge your progress. Maybe you stayed disciplined today. Maybe you made a tough decision that moved you closer to your goal. Maybe you overcame a challenge you used to struggle with. Give yourself credit. Recognizing small wins keeps you motivated to keep going. Self-evaluation isn't about being hard on yourself. It's about learning from yourself. It's about being aware of your patterns, your tendencies, your strengths, and your weaknesses. When you pay attention to your daily actions, you start to see the patterns that shape your life. And once you see the patterns, you can change them. If you notice that you keep making the same excuses, you can break the cycle. If you realize that you're spending too much time on things that don't matter, you can shift your focus. If you see that you're improving in certain areas, you can double down on what's working. But none of this happens if you don't take the time to look. Successful people aren't perfect. They're just aware. They know their strengths, they know their weaknesses, and they know exactly what they need to work on. They don't wait for someone else to tell them what they need to fix. They don't make excuses. They hold themselves accountable every day. And that's why they keep improving, while everyone else stays the same. But self-reflection isn't just about thinking. It's about adjusting. There's no point in recognizing a problem if you don't change it. If you notice that you're wasting too much time, do something about it. If you realize that you're not pushing yourself hard enough, step up your effort. If you see that a certain habit is holding you back, replace it with a better one. Small adjustments, made every day, lead to massive results over time. Most people set goals, but very few people track their progress. They say they want to be successful, but they don't check if they're actually doing the work. That's why so many people get frustrated. They expect big results without making daily improvements. If you want to succeed, don't just set goals. Review them. Measure your progress. Adjust your strategy. Make sure you're actually moving forward. Think of it like driving a car. If you're heading in the wrong direction, it doesn't matter how fast you're going. You'll never reach your destination. But if you check your map, adjust your course, and make small corrections along the way, you'll get there much faster. That's what daily reflection does. It keeps you on track. It helps you correct mistakes early before they turn into big problems. It makes sure that every day you're getting a little bit better. If you've ever felt stuck, if you've ever felt like you're not making progress, if you've ever wondered why nothing seems to change, ask yourself, are you evaluating yourself? Are you checking your progress? Are you learning from your mistakes? Or are you just going through the motions, hoping things will get better on their own? Because they won't. Growth is not automatic. Change is not guaranteed. The only way to improve is to pay attention to what you're doing and make the necessary adjustments. It doesn't take hours. It doesn't have to be complicated. Just a few minutes of honest reflection at the end of each day can change everything. It can help you break bad habits, build better ones, stay focused on your goals, and make sure you're always moving in the right direction. So don't wait for change to happen. Make it happen by practicing daily reflection and self-evaluation every single day. Number 6, develop resilience by embracing life's challenges. Let's be honest for a moment. Life is hard. It's not always smooth sailing, and it doesn't always go the way we plan. In fact, life has a funny way of throwing curveballs when we least expect it. Things go wrong, people disappoint us, we face setbacks, and sometimes it feels like the world is against us. But here's the thing. The challenges you face are not meant to stop you. They're meant to strengthen you. When you face difficulties in life, you have a choice. You can let them defeat you, or you can use them to grow. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is not that one group faces fewer challenges. No, everyone faces challenges. The difference is how they handle them. Some people crumble under pressure. They give up when things get tough. But others, the successful ones, choose to embrace those challenges. They know that each obstacle is an opportunity to build resilience. Resilience is the ability to bounce back from adversity. It's the ability to keep going when you want to quit. It's the strength to face the hard times with courage and not let them define you. Resilience is not something you're born with. It's something you develop, one challenge at a time. It's about choosing to keep moving forward, even when everything around you says to stop. Now, I know that sounds easy to say. You might be thinking, yeah, that's great, but what about when life just feels too hard? Well, I get it. There are times when life knocks you down, and it feels like getting back up is impossible. But I want you to understand something. The only way out is through. You can't run from challenges. You can't avoid pain, but you can learn to face it, to deal with it, and to use it to grow stronger. The first step in developing resilience is to change how you view challenges. Too many people see obstacles as roadblocks. They think that when something goes wrong, it's a sign that they should give up or that they're not meant to succeed. But I want you to flip that thinking on its head. Challenges are not roadblocks. They're stepping stones. Every time you overcome something difficult, you grow. You build muscle, both mentally and emotionally. You prove to yourself that you can handle whatever life throws at you. Think about it. When you face a tough situation, it's uncomfortable. You might feel angry, frustrated, or even scared. But the beauty of those feelings is that they push you to grow. They push you to adapt, to be creative, and to find new ways to solve problems. The more challenges you face, the better you get at handling them. And that's how resilience is built. One experience at a time. Another key to resilience is learning how to bounce back quickly. It's not enough to just get through the hard times. Resilience means you don't stay down when life knocks you over. You get back up faster and stronger. You learn from your mistakes, adjust, and keep moving forward. The quicker you can recover from setbacks, the stronger you become. And that strength isn't just physical, it's mental, emotional, and spiritual. You might say, but what if I fail again? Well, here's the secret. Failure is part of the process. Every successful person has failed at some point. Failure is not something to be feared or avoided. It's something to embrace. Why? Because failure teaches you more than success ever will. It shows you where you need to improve. It teaches you resilience. It pushes you to dig deeper, to find strength you didn't know you had. If you've ever been through something tough, whether it's a personal setback, a business failure, or a difficult relationship, you know how painful it can be. But I want you to think back on those times. What did you learn from them? What did you discover about yourself? I bet you learned something valuable. I bet you came out of it a little stronger, a little wiser. That's what challenges do. They give you wisdom. They teach you lessons that no book or class can teach you. And those lessons are priceless. One of the biggest mistakes people make when facing challenges is they don't ask for help. They try to handle everything on their own, and that's a mistake. Resilience doesn't mean you have to do it all by yourself. In fact, it's often through other people that we learn how to be resilient. Don't be afraid to reach out when you're struggling. Don't be afraid to lean on your support system, whether that's family, friends, or mentors. Asking for help doesn't make you weak. It makes you smart. Resilience is about recognizing that you don't have to do everything alone. It's about knowing when to ask for support and using that support to get back on your feet faster. Now, here's something important to remember. Developing resilience takes time. You won't wake up one day and magically be able to handle everything that life throws at you. It's a process. It's about facing challenges, learning from them, and getting stronger with each one. Over time, you'll notice that you're handling things with more grace, more patience, and more strength. You'll notice that you don't get knocked down as easily, and when you do, you're able to get back up faster. So the next time life throws a challenge your way, don't run from it. Don't bury your head in the sand and hope it goes away. Step up and face it head on. See it as an opportunity to grow. Know that you're getting stronger with every obstacle you overcome. You're building resilience, and that resilience is what will carry you through the toughest times in life. Remember, it's not the challenges themselves that define you. It's how you respond to them. It's how you rise above them. Every time you embrace a challenge, you become stronger. And that strength, that resilience, will become one of your greatest assets in life. So embrace the challenges. Don't shy away from them. Use them to build resilience, to grow, and to become the best version of yourself. In the end, life is going to test you. It's going to throw challenges your way. But the only question is, will you let them break you? Or will you use them to make you stronger? The choice is yours. Choose resilience, choose growth, and keep moving forward. Number 7, prioritize self-care to fuel your growth, taking care of yourself. You know, in the hustle of life, with everything going on around you, it's easy to forget to slow down and focus on your well-being. We're always moving forward, trying to accomplish more, work harder, and push through. And sure, those things are important, but here's the reality. If you don't take care of yourself, you won't have the energy or strength to keep moving forward. Self-care is not a luxury. It's a necessity. You cannot pour from an empty cup. If you want to grow, achieve, and become the best version of yourself, you need to prioritize your own health, physically, mentally, and emotionally. You can't give your best to the world if you're running on empty. That's why self-care is so important. It's the fuel that powers your growth, your success, and your ability to keep going, even when life gets tough. Think about it like this. You're a car, and just like a car needs fuel to run, you need proper nourishment, rest, and mental care to keep going. If you're constantly running on fumes, what happens? You break down. You can't keep up. And that's exactly what happens when you neglect self-care in your own life. You'll burn out, lose your drive, and eventually you won't be able to show up for yourself or others the way you need to. The first step to prioritizing self-care is recognizing that it's not selfish. Too often we hear people say, "I don't have time for self-care," or "I'm too busy to focus on myself right now." But the truth is, if you don't make time for yourself, you'll eventually find that you're running on empty. You'll burn out, you'll feel drained, and you won't be able to give your best. Taking care of yourself doesn't mean being selfish. It means being smart. It means setting yourself up for success, because when you're healthy and energized, you can give more to everything and everyone around you. Self-care doesn't look the same for everyone. For some, it's about getting enough sleep, eating the right foods, and exercising regularly. For others, it might be taking a walk in nature or sitting in silence for a few minutes each day. It's whatever helps you recharge, refresh, and reset. The key is to find what works for you, what helps you feel grounded and balanced, what helps you feel energized and ready to tackle your goals. It could be something as simple as taking a break in the middle of the day to stretch and breathe, or setting aside time to read a book or take a bath. Whatever it is, make it a priority. Make it a part of your routine. Another aspect of self-care is emotional well-being. You can't just take care of your body without also taking care of your mind. Stress, anxiety, and negative thoughts can weigh you down, drain your energy, and stop you from being your best. So make sure you're doing the mental and emotional work too. Meditate, journal, talk to someone you trust, or practice gratitude. Find ways to let go of the mental clutter that weighs you down. Your mind needs just as much care and attention as your body does. Now let's talk about the importance of saying no. It's easy to get caught up in trying to do everything for everyone, but this is where self-care really comes into play. You have to learn to set boundaries and say no when necessary. Protect your time and energy. You can't say yes to every request, every invitation, and every demand that comes your way. If you try to do everything, you'll end up doing nothing well. By saying no, you're saying yes to your own well-being. You're giving yourself permission to rest, to recharge, and to focus on your own goals and health. You can't be all things to all people. You have to put yourself first sometimes, and that's okay. Let's also talk about the importance of rest. Rest is not a luxury, it's a necessity. You need time to recover and replenish your energy. This means more than just getting enough sleep at night, though that's important too. It means taking breaks throughout the day. It means stepping away from your work, your responsibilities, and your daily grind to give your mind and body a chance to reset. We're not machines, and we can't keep going non-stop without consequences. Rest is the fuel that allows you to keep moving forward with strength and clarity. So don't feel guilty about taking a break. It's part of the process. It's an essential part of your growth. Self-care also involves taking care of your environment. The space around you can have a big impact on how you feel. Is your environment cluttered and chaotic, or is it calm and organized? Take a look around. A tidy, peaceful space can help clear your mind, reduce stress, and increase focus. Create an environment that nurtures your well-being. Surround yourself with things that inspire you, make you feel at peace, and help you stay grounded. This could be as simple as cleaning up your workspace or adding a plant to your room. When you create a positive environment, you're taking care of yourself too. So here's the bottom line. Self-care is not a luxury, it's essential. You need to prioritize it if you want to grow, achieve, and live your best life. Your body, your mind, and your spirit all need attention and care. Without it, you'll burn out, lose focus, and struggle to move forward. But when you make self-care a priority, you give yourself the energy and strength to keep pushing forward, to keep working on your goals, and to become the best version of yourself. Remember, you can't pour from an empty cup. Take care of yourself, and you'll have more to give to others and to your own dreams. Now it's time to make that commitment. Start small, but make self-care a daily habit. Find the things that work for you, whether it's physical health, emotional well-being, or simply creating a peaceful environment. It doesn't have to be complicated or time-consuming. Just make it a priority. Your future self will thank you. Number 8. Let go of your comfort zone. I know it's easy to fall into the trap of staying where you feel safe, where everything is familiar, and where there's no risk of failure or disappointment. It feels good to be in control, doesn't it? But here's the thing. If you want to grow, to move forward in life, to achieve the things you dream of, you have to let go of that comfort zone. You have to step into the unknown. And yes, that's scary, but that's where all the magic happens. When you stay in your comfort zone, you're basically saying to yourself, I'm okay with where I am. And that's fine for a while. But growth doesn't happen when you're okay with where you are. Growth happens when you challenge yourself, when you push yourself beyond the limits you've set, when you take risks and face the unknown. The moment you let go of that comfort zone, you open yourself up to new opportunities, new challenges, and new possibilities. Now, I'm not saying you should throw yourself into something completely out of your element without preparation. What I'm saying is that you have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. You have to start doing the things that scare you, even if they make you nervous, uncertain, or anxious. That's how you grow. Growth doesn't happen when things are easy. It happens when things are hard, when you have to push yourself, when you have to show up, even though you're unsure of what's going to happen. That's when you discover what you're truly capable of. Think about it. Every time you've taken a step outside of your comfort zone, what happened? You probably felt nervous, maybe even terrified, but you did it anyway. And something amazing happened. You grew. Maybe you learned something new. Maybe you gained confidence in yourself. Maybe you realized that the thing you were afraid of wasn't as bad as you thought. That's the power of stepping out of your comfort zone. It forces you to confront your fears, to challenge your limits, and to become stronger and more resilient. So why do we stay in our comfort zones for so long? It's because it's easy, it's familiar, and we like to feel safe. But here's the truth. Nothing extraordinary happens in the safe zone. If you want to achieve something remarkable in your life, you have to be willing to take risks, to face the unknown, and to deal with the fear that comes with it. It's not about being fearless. It's about doing it anyway, despite the fear. The fear never goes away, but you get better at handling it, and eventually it stops holding you back. Letting go of your comfort zone means accepting that growth requires discomfort. It means accepting that you might fail, you might stumble, but guess what? That's part of the journey. That's how you learn, how you get better, how you become stronger. If you're not failing, you're probably not pushing hard enough. Failure is a sign that you're trying, that you're stepping up, that you're willing to take the risk. So don't let failure scare you. Let it teach you. Let it motivate you to keep going, to try again, and to keep moving forward. I want you to think about the things that you've been avoiding because they feel uncomfortable. Maybe it's starting that business. Maybe it's having a difficult conversation. Maybe it's trying something new that you've never done before. Whatever it is, I challenge you to take that first step, just one step. That's all it takes to start breaking free from your comfort zone. And you'll be amazed at how much strength you have within you when you do. It's easy to make excuses, to tell yourself that you're not ready or that you're not good enough, but you will never be ready until you take the leap. The truth is, you'll never have all the answers. You'll never have everything figured out, and you'll never be 100% comfortable. And that's okay. What matters is that you're willing to take the chance. What matters is that you're willing to go after what you want, even if it means stepping into the unknown, facing the fear, and embracing the discomfort. When you let go of your comfort zone, you open yourself up to new possibilities, new experiences, and new growth. You begin to see the world differently. You stop seeing obstacles and start seeing opportunities. You stop seeing limitations and start seeing possibilities. You begin to realize that you are capable of so much more than you ever thought. You start to believe in yourself, in your abilities, and in your potential. And that belief becomes the fuel that drives you forward, that pushes you to keep going, even when things get tough. Remember, the only way to reach your full potential is to push past the limits you've set for yourself. The only way to truly grow is to step outside of the comfortable little bubble you've created and take on new challenges. It's the only way to become the person you're meant to be. So I want you to make a commitment today. Commit to stepping outside of your comfort zone. Commit to embracing the discomfort. Commit to doing what scares you, because that's where your true growth begins. Take that first step, and I promise you, you'll never look back. You'll find a strength within yourself that you didn't know was there. You'll find a courage that you didn't know you had. And you'll start living the life you were meant to live. The life that's waiting for you outside of that comfort zone. Now take a deep breath, look ahead, and take that step. It's time to let go of your comfort zone and step into the life you've always dreamed of. Number 9. Make failure your teacher, not your enemy. Failure. It's a word that many people fear, and yet it's one of the most important teachers you will ever have in your life. I know it sounds counterintuitive, right? We've all been taught that failure is something to avoid, something to be ashamed of, something that means we're not good enough, or we're not cut out for success. But here's the truth. Failure isn't your enemy. It's your greatest teacher. It's the tool that helps you grow, learn, and ultimately succeed. We live in a society that often glorifies success and demonizes failure. We see the winners, the achievers, the people who've made it to the top, and we think their journey was easy, smooth, and free from setbacks. But the truth is, behind every success story is a long list of failures, struggles, and lessons learned the hard way. Failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of the process. Think about the most successful people you admire. Do you think they got to where they are without experiencing failure? Of course not. They've failed, they've stumbled, they've fallen flat on their faces. But the difference between them and the people who never make it is that they didn't let failure stop them. They didn't let it define them. They used it as fuel to keep going. And you can do the same. When you make failure your teacher, you start to see it differently. Instead of seeing it as something to fear, you start to see it as an opportunity to learn. You start to ask yourself, what can I learn from this? What did I miss? What can I do differently next time? Failure is the most honest feedback you can get. It doesn't lie. It shows you exactly where you need to improve. It shows you the gaps in your skills, your mindset, and your approach. If you can embrace that feedback, if you can accept that failure is part of the process, you'll be amazed at how quickly you'll grow and improve. But here's the key. You can't let failure defeat you. You can't let it hold you back. You can't let it make you believe that you're not capable or that you're not good enough. That's where people go wrong. They experience failure, and instead of learning from it, they let it knock them down and keep them down. They let it convince them that they're not cut out for success. And that's the biggest mistake you can make. Failure is not a reflection of who you are. It's just a moment in time, a lesson that you can take with you on your journey. It's not permanent, and it doesn't define your future. What defines your future is how you respond to it. Will you let failure keep you down, or will you use it as the stepping stone that propels you forward? Let me tell you something. Some of the most successful people in history failed many times before they succeeded. Thomas Edison failed thousands of times before he invented the light bulb. Michael Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team. Walt Disney was told he lacked creativity. The list goes on and on. But the common thread among all these successful people is that they didn't let failure stop them. They didn't let it tell them that they couldn't do it. They got back up, they learned from their mistakes, and they kept going. And that's why they succeeded. So how can you start making failure your teacher instead of your enemy? First, change your mindset. Stop seeing failure as something to fear. See it as a chance to learn, to grow, and to improve. Every time you fail, ask yourself, what did I learn from this? What can I do differently next time? This simple shift in thinking will change the way you approach challenges and obstacles. Instead of avoiding them, You'll embrace them as opportunities to learn and get better. Next, don't take failure personally. It's not a reflection of your worth or your abilities. It's simply a result of trying something new, stepping out of your comfort zone, and giving it your best shot. Failure happens to everyone, even the most successful people. It's just part of the journey. The key is not to let it define you or your future. Don't let it convince you that you're not capable. Keep going, keep learning, and keep growing. And most importantly, don't quit. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is that the successful ones don't give up when they fail. They keep going. They keep learning. They keep pushing forward. And that's what you need to do too. When you fail, get back up, learn from your mistakes, and try again. It's not about how many times you fall. It's about how many times you get back up. Remember, failure is just a lesson. It's a lesson that shows you what doesn't work, so you can figure out what does. It's a lesson that shows you where you need to improve, so you can get better. It's a lesson that teaches you perseverance, resilience, and the importance of never giving up. So the next time you fail, don't get discouraged. Don't let it defeat you. Let it teach you. Let it guide you, and keep moving forward, because your success is waiting for you on the other side of failure. In the end, failure is not something to fear or avoid. It's a tool, a stepping stone, a teacher that helps you get closer to your goals. Embrace it, learn from it, and use it to fuel your growth. Because the only way to truly fail is to give up, and that's something you are not going to do. Keep going, keep learning, and keep moving forward. Success is on the other side of failure, and it's waiting for you to reach it. Number 10, celebrate progress, not perfection. There's something about perfectionism that we've all been told to strive for. We've been conditioned to believe that if something isn't perfect, it's not worth celebrating. We get caught up in the idea that we need to have everything just right, whether it's in our work, our personal lives, or even how we present ourselves to the world. But here's a truth that might be hard to swallow. Perfection is an illusion. It doesn't exist. It's a moving target, and no matter how hard you chase it, it's always just out of reach. Now let's talk about progress. Progress is what matters. It's not about being perfect. It's about moving forward, even if it's just a little bit at a time. Every step you take towards your goals, no matter how small, is something to celebrate. And here's why. Every bit of progress, no matter how insignificant it may seem in the moment, adds up over time. It compounds. And that's where the real magic happens. Think about it. If you try to be perfect all the time, you're setting yourself up for disappointment. Perfection is an unattainable standard, and when you inevitably fall short of it, you'll feel like you haven't done enough. You'll feel like you're not good enough. But when you focus on progress instead of perfection, you give yourself room to grow. You give yourself permission to fail, to stumble, to learn, and to improve. The truth is, the journey to success is messy. It's not linear. There are ups and downs, twists and turns, and there will be times when you feel like you're not making any progress at all. But if you're focused on perfection, you'll miss the small wins along the way. You'll miss the fact that you've gotten just a little bit better today than you were yesterday. You'll overlook the fact that you've learned something new or made a small improvement. And if you miss those moments, you'll miss out on the momentum that keeps you going. Celebrating progress is the key to staying motivated. When you celebrate the small wins, it keeps you going. It fuels your drive and helps you see how far you've come. Every time you achieve something, whether it's completing a task, learning a new skill, or overcoming a challenge, you've taken another step towards your bigger goals. And that's something worth celebrating. But let me tell you, it's not always easy. We live in a world that's obsessed with instant results. We want things to happen quickly, and we want them to happen perfectly. But that's just not how it works. Success takes time. It takes effort. It takes consistent action. And most importantly, it takes patience. So instead of focusing on how far you have to go, take a moment to recognize how far you've already come. One of the biggest mistakes people make is that they set goals, work hard for a while, and then get discouraged because they haven't reached their ultimate destination yet. They look at their progress and see it as insufficient. They compare their progress to others or to some idealized version of success, and that's when they give up. But here's the thing, you are not in competition with anyone else. Your journey is yours alone, and the only progress that matters is your own. So how do you start celebrating progress instead of perfection? First, shift your mindset. Start recognizing the small wins. Celebrate the things that go right, even if they don't seem like a big deal. Maybe you completed a task that's been hanging over your head for weeks. Maybe you showed up to work today with a positive attitude, even though you were feeling down. Maybe you had a difficult conversation and handled it with grace. These are all wins, and they deserve to be celebrated. Next, don't wait for the big achievements to celebrate. Too often, we only allow ourselves to celebrate when we've reached the finish line or achieved the ultimate goal. But life doesn't work that way. The small wins are what get you to the big ones. If you wait for perfection to celebrate, you'll never celebrate anything. So take time to acknowledge the small victories, the little steps forward. They all add up. Another key to celebrating progress is being kind to yourself. It's so easy to get caught up in self-criticism and to focus on what you haven't done yet. But if you want to keep moving forward, you need to be your own biggest cheerleader. Don't beat yourself up for not being perfect. Recognize that you're doing the best you can, and that's enough. You're making progress, and that's something to be proud of. Finally, surround yourself with people who will celebrate your progress with you. It's easy to get discouraged if you're constantly surrounded by people who only focus on the end goal or who don't recognize the effort you're putting in. Find a support system of people who understand the value of progress, who will cheer you on every step of the way. Because when you have people in your corner who celebrate your wins, it makes the journey that much more enjoyable. Remember, progress is the true measure of success. It's not about being perfect. It's about moving forward, even if it's just a little bit at a time. Every step you take, no matter how small, brings you closer to your goals, and that's something worth celebrating. So from this moment forward, start celebrating your progress. Recognize the wins, no matter how small, and be proud of how far you've come. You are making progress, and that's all that matters. Keep moving forward, and the results will come. Don't wish it were easier, wish you were better. Now, as we wrap this up, here's the most important thing I want you to remember. Working hard on yourself isn't just a one-time effort, it's a lifelong commitment. The journey to becoming the best version of you won't always be easy, but I promise you it will be worth it. Every small step you take today will add up to something bigger tomorrow. If you're willing to put in the effort, to challenge yourself, and to keep pushing even when it feels tough, you will see the results. The truth is, you already have everything inside of you to succeed. It's just about unlocking your potential, and that begins with making the decision to work hard on yourself. So don't wait for some perfect moment. Don't wait for motivation to strike. Take action now. Start building the habits, mindset, and routines that will take you where you want to go. Remember, growth doesn't happen overnight, but every day you choose to work on yourself, you're one step closer to becoming the person you're meant to be. Thank you for watching. And if this video inspired you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Let's keep growing together. The best version of you is waiting. Now go after it.